footing the enormous bill for our public transport system is a problem that never really goes away, but in the last 24 hours it has turned into a big political row, which will almost certainly end up costing us all more money. The Mayor says the cash the government has given him to keep the tubes and buses running is nowhere near enough, while the government insists Sadiq Khan must accept responsibility for the poor management of the network's finances. In the meantime, we are all going to pay more from next week to get around our city. Ria Chatterjee has the details.
Are Londoners paying the price of party politics?
You've said this isn't the deal you wanted, so do you accept that your ultimatum backfired?
This is a bad deal for our city. The alternative in not accepting this deal was for our buses and trains to grind to a halt. The reasons for the acute financial pressures of TfL is because of COVID-19.
Part of the responsibility here lies with you. You froze fares for 4 years and it's created a financial black hole. Do you accept that?
No, the evidence just isn't there. So when I became mayor, TfL had a debt of £1.5 billion. I've reduced that. We rely upon more than 90% of our services being provided by the fares that come in, which have dried up over the last 8 weeks.
Of course, his political opponents strongly disagree.
The buck stops fairly and squarely with Sadiq Khan. His running of TfL finances has been a disaster. It was a disaster before we even hit COVID. He's projecting a £12 billion deficit.
So what practical changes might affect you? On Monday, the congestion charge will be reintroduced, and next month it'll go up to £15. Tube and bus fares will rise above inflation from January. Car-free zones are being considered as walking and cycling is encouraged. And free travel for young people and over 60s will be temporarily suspended during the rush hour.
Like countless other young people who are from working class backgrounds, I find it really difficult to get around the city without the free travel. I think the main problem with the policy is that it's reflective of a lot of the other things that the government are doing. It's making those who have the least pay the most.
The Mayor says his car-free policy is designed to aid social distancing on public transport.
The maximum passengers that can safely use it is between 13 and 15%. When you bear in mind we have more than 4 million tube journeys a day, more than 6 million bus journeys a day, that means a lot of people are going to find alternative ways if they have to leave home to get to work.
I mean, you've quoted a lot of figures there which don't seem to take in the realities of people's lives. For example, you know, there'll be thousands of low-paid workers who work incredibly long hours who simply won't be able to walk or cycle to work.
Well, I think you're referring to government advice, which is to keep a social distance. The advice from the medical officers and the scientific officers is we want to avoid a second peak.
No, I'm referring to your policy.
NHS.
Thousands of people's lives will be affected in London because of these changes, but you're not taking responsibility for any of it.
I think thousands of Londoners' lives will be adversely affected because of this government deal.
It's anti-London, he says. Ria Chatterjee, ITV News.